All right, so you've sent us some pretty interesting stuff here from RoleCatcher, all about becoming a dental hygienist. So let's dive right in.
Yeah, looks like someone's interested in teeth.
It does, but maybe not necessarily being a dentist.
Well, and that's okay because what's so cool about being a dental hygienist is that it's like its own whole thing. It's not just cleaning teeth like everyone thinks you know. It's about really building those relationships with patients. You're educating them. And as you get, further along in your career, there's even opportunities for research and things like that.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that even in these resources, like they break down all this technical stuff, like the different types of cleaning techniques, and honestly, it's a lot more involved than I thought it was.
Right. And I think what's really interesting is how much they emphasize communication skills.
Yeah.
Think about it. They're actively listening to patients, calming someone down who might be afraid of the dentist. And then on top of that, they're coaching these patients on how to have good oral hygiene. It's very people focused.
It's like they're a health coach, but for your mouth. Did you know RoleCatcher actually recommends taking courses in like psychology and communication if you want to go into this field?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they'd say that could really give you an edge when it comes to understanding, patient behavior and
Yeah,
communication styles.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, though. The guide's also upfront about some of the challenges, like the physical strain of being on your feet all day, and of course, dealing with patients, some who might be a little difficult.
Okay. Yeah. I can see how that would be a difficult part of the job.
Mm.
But then there's the career progression aspect that RoleCatcher highlights. They have like 3 stages outlined: entry level, junior, and senior dental hygienist. And each one comes with, more and more responsibility. So
Yay.
you could start by assisting and then work your way up to leading a team or even developing programs for oral health.
Yeah, exactly. There's a real path for growth there.
Hmm.
And speaking of growth, did you see where they talk about how important continuous learning is? Conferences, certifications, like becoming a registered dental hygienist, which by the way means that you've met like national standards, you've passed board exams, and then you can even specialize in things like local anesthesia.
Wow, I had no idea that there were so many different avenues to specialize in.
Oh, yeah,
You could really find your niche.
absolutely.
So it's not just about, cleaning teeth. It's about constantly, expanding what and your skill set.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes this particular career so interesting is because it has that really nice balance of hands-on work, but then you have all this professional development that you're doing all the time as well.
So we've talked about, the skills and the growth potential, but what about like the day-to-day? What did RoleCatcher say about what it's actually like to be a dental hygienist?
Well, they actually do a really good job, I think, of giving you a glimpse into a typical day, and it's more than you might think.
Oh.
Obviously there's the hands-on stuff, the
Mhm.
cleaning, the x-rays, that kind of thing.
Right, taking x-rays, but then they also talk a lot about patient education too.
Oh, yeah.
Like really taking the time to explain things to people.
Absolutely. And like even going into detail on those different cleaning techniques you were talking about,
Or like the supra versus sub.
yeah, exactly. And it's not just about here's what I'm doing. It's really about giving those patients the tools to take care of their own oral health.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, RoleCatcher even included the sample script of how to talk to a patient about gum disease and how it relates to heart health. It's like connecting the dots.
Wow. So you really are like a health educator.
You are.
Yeah.
Which brings us to another thing they highlight a lot, which is teamwork.
Okay.
Dental hygienists don't work in isolation. They're part of this bigger team with the dentist, the assistants, the
Yeah.
office staff, everybody.
And that teamwork even extends beyond the office walls too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because RoleCatcher specifically talks about how important it is to stay updated on all the advancements in the field. And they say joining organizations like the American Dental Hygienists Association is a great way to do that.
oh, for sure.
Because then you have access to all the latest research, best practices. You can network with other professionals.
Yeah, it's like this built-in support system for your career.
Totally.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about those additional certifications that you can get,
Oh, yeah, like what?
like CPR
Yeah.
or even administering nitrous oxide.
Oh, wow.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But it just shows that you're committed to expanding your skill set and taking on more responsibility. So it seems like there's always something new to learn,
Always.
which is really cool. And speaking of learning new things, RoleCatcher has this whole section about their RoleCatcher Capture plugin, which seems super helpful for anyone who's like in the middle of a job search.
Oh, tell me more about that.
So like say you're browsing online, looking at different job boards,
Yeah.
and you find a listing that looks promising. Well, with this plugin, you can just like capture it and it gets saved right to your RoleCatcher dashboard.
Oh, that's handy.
I know. No more like frantic bookmarking or trying to remember where you saw that perfect job posting.
Especially these days when there's so many different websites and platforms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of standing out in a crowded field, RoleCatcher actually gives advice on how to beat those like automated recruiting systems.
Oh, interesting, because everybody's dealing with those now.
I know. And they say that you should use specific keywords from the job description in your resume and cover letter.
Oh, because those applicant tracking systems, they're programmed to look for that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's like they're giving you the cheat codes to the job market.
I like it. So they're not messing around.
Nope. And that's just one example how they go above and beyond.
Yeah.
They even have a whole section about writing a really compelling About Me section for your online profiles because they say that's crucial for making a strong first impression.
Oh, definitely. Especially now.
Right.
You want to stand out.
It's not just about listing your skills anymore. It's about showcasing your personality.
And I think that's something that a lot of people forget about.
Totally. So they're not just helping you find a job, they're helping you build a whole career.
I love that. It's a much more holistic approach.
Exactly. And speaking of holistic, I think it's important to bring it back to something we talked about earlier, which is the impact that oral health has on someone's overall well-being.
Yeah, because that's huge.
Huge. And I feel like it often gets overlooked.
It does.
But RoleCatcher really stresses that connection.
Absolutely.
It's easy to get caught up in the technical side of things, but at the end of the day, it's about helping people live healthier lives.
And that's really what it's all about.
Exactly. And, as I'm looking through these resources more and more, I'm really struck by how much RoleCatcher emphasizes the human element of this career path, which I think is really cool.
I agree. Especially in this day and age when everything feels so automated.
Yeah, it really does feel like they get it, like they understand that human connection is so important in this field.
And that reminds me, actually, they also talk about building relationships with the dentists, too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they say that having that strong partnership between the hygienist and the dentist, it's like essential for giving the patients the best possible care.
It makes sense. You're both working towards the same goal,
Yeah.
just from different sides, I guess.
Exactly, like a well-aligned bite.
Okay, I see what you did there.
And RoleCatcher even gives you tips on how to build those relationships. Like they say you should proactively talk to the dentist about any concerns that your patients have, or even take the initiative to learn about new technologies or techniques that the dentist is interested in.
So it's really about being a team player, showing that you're willing to go the extra mile.
Exactly.
I'm really impressed with how RoleCatcher manages to bring together the practical stuff, the technical skills, with those softer skills, like the interpersonal stuff that we were just talking about.
Yeah, and they even talk about the importance of advocating for yourself as a professional.
Oh, okay. How so?
Like, they remind you that it's totally normal to negotiate your salary and your benefits when you're getting hired.
Oh, that's so important.
Right. And they give you advice on how to do that effectively.
That's huge, especially for women in fields that have traditionally been, dominated by men.
Absolutely. You've got to know your worth.
You do.
Yeah.
Speaking of looking ahead, RoleCatcher doesn't just stop at helping you get the job offer. They actually encourage you to think about your long-term career goals.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, they have questions like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or what are your ultimate aspirations?
It's like they're saying, okay, you got your foot in the door now, let's aim even higher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with dental hygiene, there's so much room for growth and specialization. The possibilities really are endless.
They really are. After going through all of this stuff with you, I'm kind of amazed by how multifaceted this career path really is.
Me too.
It's challenging for sure, but it's also incredibly rewarding. You get to really make a difference in people's lives, and at the same time, you're constantly learning and growing as a professional.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So to our listeners out there, if you're looking for a career that combines science with compassion and even a little bit of artistry,
Oh, yeah, I like
a
that.
career where you can build these strong connections with your patients and be at the cutting edge of a field that's constantly evolving, well, maybe it's time to see if dental hygiene is the right fit for you.
And if any of this has piqued your interest, definitely go check out RoleCatcher's website.
Yes.
Their insights are super valuable and well-researched. Clearly, they've done their homework. It's a fantastic resource for anyone who's even thinking about this field.
It's your official invitation to explore the world of dental hygiene. Until next time, happy diving.